Thank you very much for joining us for the Camnet TV main news on Saturday, the 30th of September 2023. To present it, my name is Marco Kozi. Let's take a look at the stories that are making the headlines. The Patriotic Front describes the 2024 national budget as non-pro-poor. Citizens object the introduction of tax on mobile money transactions. Bishop TELESPHORE MPUNDU implores government to focus on improving the lives of people. In international news, Burkina Faso's partisans demonstrate in support of Junta 1 year post-coup. And in sports news, WITKINS scores a hat-trick as Villa thumps Brighton. For details of these and other stories, join us shortly after this break.
Live your dream today by playing Nawina Lotto and study chance to win up to 2,000 kwacha every day.
And in order to play Zambia's most trusted lottery, first make sure you have money in your mobile money account.
In order to stand a chance to win, you need to follow these steps. Step number 1, dial *388*6#. Step number 2, select option 1 to buy your ticket. Step number 3, select option 5, which is Camnet. Step number 4, buy 1 ticket for 5 kwacha, 2 tickets for 10 kwacha, or 10 tickets for 50 kwacha. Number 5, enter your mobile PIN to confirm your purchase.
After buying your ticket, you will be entered into the day's draw and a unique code will be sent to you via SMS.
Draws will be done every day right here on Camnet TV, and the winners will be announced right here on Camnet TV every day at 19 hours. Remember, the more tickets you buy, the higher chances of winning. Get busy!
Welcome back, and now the news in detail. Some residents of Lusaka's Chawama constituency have expressed concern that the new VIP toilets introduced by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company are costly and difficult to maintain. Meanwhile, Gochi Services Limited Director George Mwila emphasizes the need for continuous awareness creation on how to maintain the toilets and ways of making the services affordable and sustainable. National Water Supply and Sanitation Council NWASCO Chief Inspector Peter Mtale says the project has been progressive, but that it is vital to address identified challenges for it to benefit all the players.
The VIP toilets are part of the comprehensive Lusaka sanitation project, and they have been instrumental in improving on-site sanitation services in the capital city with the view of getting rid of ordinary pit latrines that pose serious threats to underground water. But the program has not been without obstacles when it comes to implementation. In Lusaka's Chawama constituency, in John Howard compound, those who have subscribed to VIP toilets say the toilets get full faster than ordinary latrines, and that emptying them has become costly in the wake of the prevailing high cost of living in the country.
This toilet is expensive to maintain as it gets full quickly, and when you don't have money to pay sanitation service providers, it becomes a problem. They should just find a way of getting everything at once at an affordable price.
The concern is the same among many users. We spoke to George Services Limited that works with the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company in the management of on-site sanitation, tasked with the duty of emptying toilets like these. Company Director George Mwila emphasizes the need for continuous awareness creation on how to maintain the toilets and ways of making the services affordable and sustainable.
Some people, they don't know how to keep the toilets well. They throw rubbish, all sorts of rubbish, meaning that the garbage from the houses when they sweep, they throw those the things that are not supposed to be thrown in the pits. People in these unplanned settlements, they struggle to pay for these services. sometimes a bit difficult for someone to pay 150 for 16 barrels or 300 kwacha for 32 barrels and 450 for 48 barrels.
Before broadcast time, the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company was not available to comment on the matter. Meanwhile, National Water Supply and Sanitation Council NWASCO Chief Inspector Peter Mutale says the project on on-site sanitation has been progressive, but that it is vital to address identified challenges for the benefit of all players.
Development goals is not an excluded type of sanitation that we are looking for. So it is something that is part of what is required. So with the initial 10,000 that was put there, I know that there could have been adjustments here and there, but the initial plan was to have 10,000. So the program has been going quite well, and I think people have been buying in this program because if you know, most of these peri-urban areas, the form of sanitation that they use is on-site sanitation. So you cannot leave anyone behind because we cannot pass the pipes to those people. So to some extent, to a large extent, this project is living to its expectation.
However, overall, more needs to be done to meet acceptable benchmarks in line with Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which stresses the need for inclusive access to water and sanitation services by the year 2030. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Some small and medium entrepreneurs in Lusaka are feeling the negative impact of the kwacha against major convertible currencies, coupled with the high cost of living. One of the entrepreneurs spoken to by Camnet TV News, Elias Samboko, says it is difficult to plan for his business and family as prices are unpredictable. Meanwhile, Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Elias Mubanga, says his ministry is looking to promote entrepreneurship with resources allocated to his ministry in the 2024 national budget. Here's a report.
The instability in fuel pump prices, coupled with the poor performance of the kwacha against major convertible currencies, as well as the high cost of living, continue to affect small and medium entrepreneurs as prices of essential goods are unpredictable. Elias Samboko, who spoke to Camnet TV News, says it is difficult to plan for his business and family as prices change at any time. He says the cost of living as well as the cost of doing business have significantly reduced his daily earnings.
Things are not moving the way you used to move. Pesa tuwagusaku tuode ku takes time omdala to balance. And pesa tuwaoda lero when the next week pesa tuvakwera. So we bora passive into things are not the way they're supposed to be. Pesa basona kandrama katupi nufika kweze waikira kuti dola yakwera, fuel yakwera, so it's very stable vinto. Rometi bazukusa kuti pesa at least balance ako wanoenda ku school nowadays or good free education, but so angene na njala ku school wana kai. Ofunika uzija wana kai. So otherwise no cost amda. And tukwacha nowadays kuja chi breakfast kwa sira, breakfast sikwana. Kati mkara 5-10 pa nyumba and tukwacha cheap. Vinivadura boza nyoipa.
Another entrepreneur, Noah Piri, says the cost of living is making it hard for him to make ends meet.
Like me as a businessman, I'm being affected with the economy, with the inflation of dollar, for the reason that whenever I buy, I order this on 50 kwacha, I order this on 50 kwacha, I need to sell it like 100 kwacha for me to cover up. So you find most of the times maybe ankosera business in Agulise, then I need to eat, I need to pay rentals.
Meanwhile, Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Elias Mubanga, says his ministry is looking to promote entrepreneurship in the country with resources allocated to his ministry in the 2024 national budget.
I am quite happy that the Minister of Finance has emphasized entrepreneurship, and as a ministry we will work with what has been allocated to us to promote the entrepreneurship. But the coming of the private sector participation as well, that will increase, especially access to finance by the entrepreneurs to the private sector. I'm hoping that the banks, the commercial banks, should, drop down their interest rates, because government is not, borrowing from the commercial banks.
Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Chinsari Member of Parliament Kalalwe Mukosa has accused the Minister of Finance Dr. Stumbeko Musokotwani of lying before Parliament that the Constituency Development Fund CDF has been 100% funded when in fact not. In an interview, Mr. Mukosa says instead of increasing the CDF to 30.6 million, the government should have focused on reviewing its performance. Meanwhile, some residents of Lusaka have expressed concern over the lack of transparency in the disbursement of the funds. Here's a report.
To you, Madam Speaker, and to this House, and through this House, the nation, that as of December 2022, all the 156 constituencies had received their full allocation of CDF.
While the government disclosed that the Constituency Development Fund CDF has been 100% funded, some area members of Parliament, among them Chinsali Constituency Member of Parliament, do not hold the same view. Chinsali Area Member of Parliament Kalalwe Mukosa has accused the Minister of Finance, Dr. Stumbeko Musokotwani, of lying before Parliament with a said statement. He says his constituency has not received its 100% allocation as claimed by the Finance Minister, a situation he fears would jeopardize him by leaving people in his constituency to question.
They are failing to fund it. Because clearly, to me, it appears the minister is making certain pronouncements just for the sake of appeasing people, which is not supposed to be the case. Because look, we as members of Parliament are being put in the harm's way. When he was presenting Parliament, he clearly stated that 100% has been given to CDF. The CDF has been 100% funded, when in the actual sense that is not true. So if I go on radio tomorrow, my people in Chinsari will be saying, by MP, why are you not implementing the projects? The minister yesterday said he has funded the CDF 100%, when in the actual sense it's not true. How can a minister be lying on the floor of the House, even lying to the Speaker and all the dignitaries that came without shame?
Now, with the increase of the funds from 28.3 million kwacha to 30.6 million kwacha, he hopes all the funds will be dispersed this time around.
There is need for the government to ensure that there is coordination in the government. The information that is being released by high government officials, high-ranking government officials, needs to be consistent. Needs to be consistent so that we don't run the risk of misleading the people. Because what are we going to follow?
Meanwhile, some of the residents in Lusaka claim that despite its increase, CDF has not benefited many.
Veterinario manje problemu amene peze amene bali kusogolo bachita empower bachibululu bawo chani bali pafupi na bebe, so ife kuno kulibe vende tichita benefit, so siniziwa kuti batiganizira chani siniziwa mwena mungatiganizire munga pano ife mine sevenza pa street pano batiganizire kona ife tichite ko empower na ife we can also do our own things pa street. This will benefit as youth.
The Constituency Development Fund is an additional means of financing community-driven projects that is managed at the constituency level by members of Parliament. Despite its increase to such an amount, the question remains how its performance has been in the last 2 years. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The National Council of Student Unions has called on the Constitutional Court to repronounce itself clearly and categorically on the matter. It made a ruling 2 years ago over former President Edgar Lungu's eligibility. National Council of Student Unions Interim Secretary Brian Chinza says the student unions are of the view that this case, among many others, did not see the correct ending as expected, even at basic law. He says the students are ready to take up the voice of being the big voice in governance matters. Meanwhile, former Levi Mwanawasa Medical University President Michelo Chizombe says no one is challenging the ruling by the highest court, but that they seek to take back to court is asking the correct questions. In 2021, the Constitutional Court ruled that former President Edgar Lungu was eligible to stand for re-election in the August 12, 2021 general elections.
Others will argue that this is a done conversation, and ask why we are bringing back this conversation now. Amongst ourselves are law students and furthermore upright law graduates who have noted the ambiguous interpretation and misapplication of articles in the 1991 Constitution as amended in 1996 and the 2016 amended Constitution. Friends, on behalf of my colleagues, we strongly feel that this classic example, in our view, is a testament of misapplication of the law, as the former president's second term was still bound by the 1991 Constitution.
The Constitutional Court is the highest court of jurisdiction in the country, correct? Can a decision of the Constitutional Court be challenged? No, it cannot. So nobody is challenging a decision that was made. What is happening is that the correct question will be asked to the court, not what was previously asked. So the court will be given a new and correct question.
Some Lusaka residents are displeased with the government's proposal to introduce a tax on mobile money transactions. One of the residents, only identified as Pastor Zulu, says the decision by government to introduce a tax on mobile money will affect low-income earners who are also unbanked. During the presentation of the 2024 national budget, Finance and National Planning Ministers Tumbeko Msokotwane proposed the introduction of a levy of between 8 ngwe and 1/4 80 ngwe on the transaction value for person-to-person mobile money transfers. Here's a report.
Amid the already biting economy, government has proposed to tax all person-to-person mobile money transactions starting January 2024. This pronouncement was made during the 2024 national budget presentation by Finance and National Planning Minister Tumbeko Msokotwane.
Madam Speaker, to ensure that everyone contributes something, however small, to the provision of public services, I propose to introduce a levy of between 8 ngwe, that is 0.8, and 1/4 8 ngwe on the transaction value for person-to-person mobile money transfers.
Lusaka residents are not happy with this pronouncement.
With the tax that has been put on over the withdrawal charge, I think with this economy, it's so exorbitant. I think the government should consider this, looking at the less privileged people, look how the economy is. At the moment, we can't accept this. Please, as citizens, we are saying no to this. Please look into it.
Benefit langu ni wewe, sizamu benefit langu bino vintu. Wakaanza kujitisha na government. Your opinion is na wami kaanza kuvina government.
Meanwhile, Civil Society for Poverty Reduction Executive Director Fides Temba says government should rethink its decision on some of these taxes.
With the current poverty rates, that is going to actually affect the rural areas, because they're the ones who actually hit more in terms of poverty levels. So we're hoping that I think government should rethink the introduction of taxes, but also help communication, because we are going in the digital world. So if they begin to have taxes, it's going to have an effect on the already taxed burdened citizens. We were hoping that they were going to reduce VAT as well, but that clearly is not going to happen.
Already, citizens are struggling to make ends meet. With the biting economy, should government milk its citizens on everything they lay their hands on in the name of development? Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
A consortium of civil society organizations has expressed concern over the dwindling democratic space in the country. Zambians for Unity, Peace and Development ZUPED President Ronnie Jere is demanding that President Hakainde Hichilema fulfills his campaign promises to enact the Access to Information Bill and repeal and replace the Public Order Act, among others. Meanwhile, advocates for National Development and Democracy Executive Director Samuel Banda has commended the government for its interest in revamping the mining sector by handing over Konkola Copper Mines KCM to Vendetta. Details in the following report.
While in opposition, President Hakainde Hichilema promised wide democratic reform, and 2 years after, his administration has made tiny progress in this regard. Zambians for Unity, Peace and Development President Ronnie Jere is demanding that President Hakainde Hichilema fulfill his campaign promises to enact the Access to Information Bill, repeal and replace the Public Order Act, among others. The stakeholders are of the view that the procrastination in making notable progress in reforming the Constitution is symptomatic, lack of willingness to make structural change that would strengthen accountable governance. As a result, Zambian institutions remain susceptible to manipulation now as they were under the previous government.
We are demanding that the new Dawn government fulfills as promised the enactment of the Access to Information Bill, which we all know was tabled before Cabinet and Cabinet approved, but we are yet to see them table it before Parliament so that it is passed into law. We also want to see the repeal and replacement of the Cyber Security Crimes Act and also the Public Order Act. These pieces of legislation have been used by past and present governments to gag ordinary citizens, NGOs and opposition political parties from freedom of expression and many other fundamental human rights.
Meanwhile, Mr. Jere has also expressed concern over the dwindling democratic space in the country.
We are concerned with the dwindling democratic space in Zambia. Prior to the August 11, 2021 general elections, President Hakainde Hichilema promised the people of Zambia that he will embark on a legislative reforms through a participatory constitutional reform process that would lead to a durable Zambian constitution once he is voted into power. Unfortunately, it's now 2 years and 2 months. Zambians are still waiting.
And advocates for National Development and Democracy Executive Director Samuel Banda has commended government for its interest to revamp the mining sector by handing over Konkola Copper Mine to Vendetta. Mr. Banda has also advised stakeholders and citizens to exercise patience through the transition period.
We wish to call for patience, calm and hard working among the highlight of Konkola Copper Mine employees through this transition process of government handing over KCM to Vendetta Resources, which we believe that it will take some few months. We further wish to appeal to stakeholders in the mining sector, the suppliers, contractors, and residents of copper belt communities to exercise patience through this transition process, which is taking place.
Over the years, concerns have arisen over gaps and clear language and contradiction in the Zambian constitution. The ball is in the hands of the UPND administration to do miracles in the remaining 2.5 years after all they promised to do so. Camnet News.
Patriotic Front Chairman Legal George Chisenga says there is nothing that former Republican President Edgar Lungu has done that would warrant someone to seek his immunity removal. Mr. Chisenga says the motivation of thinking to take such a step is because they think the former head of state would like to come back and challenge the incumbent president. He says the topics keep resurfacing because the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, has continued to show fear every time the former president makes a public appearance. Here's a report.
It seems the call for the removal of former Republican President Edgar Lungu's immunity will not end anytime soon, as seen from various stakeholders' calls. However, the opposition Patriotic Front says there's nothing that the former head of state has done to warrant someone to seek the removal of his immunity. PF chairperson for Legal George Chisenga says the motivation of those thinking to take such a step is because they think the former head of state would like to come back and challenge the current president.
There is nothing that Mr. Lungu has done that should merit somebody to begin to even think about removing his immunity. There's absolutely nothing. But if you've heard the motivation is not even that Mr. Lungu committed any crime or that he committed any corruption as they are alleging. The motivation is simply because they think that Mr. Lungu would like to come back and challenge the incumbent president. This has even given rise to an opinion that we didn't think was going to arise. Now people are even beginning to say, look, leave him. If he would like to participate, let him come back now. This has come by because the UPND has shown a lot of fear. Every time they've heard that Mr. Lungu has gone to church, every time that they hear Mr. Lungu is attending a funeral. So that motivation, in my assessment, is just going to destroy our political platform as a nation.
As of late, the former head of state has been making public appearance, with a recent one where he escorted his wife, Esther Lungu, yesterday Friday, the 29th of September 2023, at the Lusaka Subordinate Court. And Mr. Chisenga says the topic of immunity keeps resurfacing because the ruling United Party for National Development has continued to show fear every time the former president makes a public appearance.
Agenda is being created by the people, and I think it's been created because of their current experiences. They have been, look, we've never had hardships in the country before than we are having right now. And this budget I've just spoken to, is not motivating for an ordinary Zambians like you and me. This budget is a pro-rich budget. We are supposed to have been producing budgets that are pro-poor. We're supposed to be taking into account the plight of the poor people in the nation. So what you are hearing in the compounds, the outcry you're hearing in the compounds, is because people are beginning to think that maybe, just maybe, the leadership of Mr. Lungu, which was leading from the heart, is something that we are beginning to miss. And if you hear about what was contained in this budget, it stands to reason why now people are beginning to think the UPND are not a pro-poor party. But they've never been a pro-poor party.
The ruling UPND had recently indicated that the party had received a bunch of concerns on the former head of state's movement. However, observes that the former head of state is at privilege to enjoy his constitutional right.
Of President Lungu to come back. Let me answer it once and for all. We, as UPND, are not afraid of President Lungu's possible political comeback. We, if there is something are concerned about, is the people of Zambia, because they are the ones who vote for a president and all elected officials.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Retired Archbishop of the Catholic Diocese of Lusaka, His Grace Most Reverend TELESPHORE MPUNDU, has advised the United Party for National Development UPND government to concentrate on improving the living standards of the people as opposed to oppressing citizens. Emeritus Archbishop TELESPHORE says that President Hakainde Hichilema must concentrate on fighting corruption in his government and not fight political opponents. The retired Archbishop further says the government must guarantee people's civic rights regardless of their political affiliation. Here's a report.
In recent days, there have been debates over the perceived maltreatment of former head of state, Edgar Lungu, from his wife being arrested for various charges to him being denied authority to travel for medical checkup. Among others, stakeholders feel the former First family is being persecuted. Retired Archbishop of the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Lusaka, His Grace Most Reverend TELESPHORE MPUNDU, is unhappy with the UPND government and accuses it of using police to oppress citizens like Edgar Lungu.
They are liars about, the police, they're supposed to be doing this. The police are supposed to protect him, not the leaders, but the population from their own leaders. They come up with all kinds of flimsy things. Now I am told if you go for jogging, it is a crime. It is just all kinds of rubbish when they speak. There's nothing. This man has as much right as everybody. No, he is a very important person, and he has all kinds of secrets about the subject. Nonsense. There are no secrets at all. It is a blue lie, a shameless lie. They should let people be free with civic rights.
Archbishop TELESPHORE MPUNDU further encourages President Hakainde Hichilema to concentrate on fighting corruption in his government, saying Edgar Lungu is no longer a factor.
We have elected criminals in government. Elected criminals in government. These elected criminals, they band with outside criminals to deprive the people of their money, to deprive the people of their heritage, and so on and so forth. So that is what we are. They are telling everyone things are all right. They're not all right. They're not all right. Oh yeah, petrol will go down. Oh, this will go down, and so on and so forth. They don't speak the truth. And the theft in high places, in the government itself. They are finding only ways and means of not addressing the real issue. And that real issue is corruption at the highest places, where the state comes together in partnership with the crooks to take things away from our people.
Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
We take a break. We have more news coming up. Don't go away.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, chew me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Live your dream
win today by playing Nawina Lotto and stand a chance to win up to 2,000 kwacha every day.
And in order to play Zambia's most trusted lottery, first make sure you have money in your mobile money account.
In order to stand a chance to win, you need to follow these steps. Step number 1, dial *388*6#. Step number 2, select option 1 to buy your ticket. Step number 3, select option 5, which is Camnet. Step number 4, buy 1 ticket for 5 kwacha, 2 tickets for 10 kwacha, or 10 tickets for 50 kwacha. Number 5, enter your mobile PIN to confirm your purchase.
After buying your tickets, you will be entered into the day's draw and a unique code will be sent to you via SMS.
Draws will be done every day right here on Camnet TV, and the winners will be announced right here on Camnet TV every day at 19 hours. Remember, the more tickets you buy, the higher chances of winning. Get busy, Iwe!
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
That's a report I was given. Ati sayendako bosi ati mzako muntu eka nitupumuleko please tulina banja knife speta chambe ni ambo konkera, because if I don't go to their doorsteps, the relation is Sila. Better vis-a-vis. Let me start dealing with this vis-a-vis. From a doorstep, head on.
At your doorstep. Time 11 hours to 12 hours every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and repeats from 18 to 19 hours every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back, and now for the rest of the news. The Ministry of Tourism, through the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, has shortlisted 2,895 candidates, resulting into 314 packages for the 2023 resident hunting season that starts on October the 2nd, 2023. In a speech read on his behalf by Assistant Director, Research and Veterinary Services, Jones Masonde, during a raffle draw for the 2023 hunting season in Lusaka, to select successful hunting applicants, DNPW Acting Director Andrew Chomba said the department received a total of 2,994 applications, out of which 2,895 applicants were shortlisted to proceed to the raffle staged, while 99 applicants were disqualified for non-compliance to the advert guidelines. He said the department had advertised 30 hunting blocks, of which 13 are prime areas, 14 are secondary areas, 2 are understocked, and 1 is a special area. Mr. Chomba called for sustainable harvesting of wild animals, noting that hunting remains a vital tool in the management of wildlife resources. He said that the Ministry of Tourism, through the department, has devised guidelines to ensure right applicants are given considerable chance to receive the hunting licenses. And Resident Hunters and Conservation Association of Zambia chairperson, Captain David Mwira, has urged all hunters to find a way to join and hunt through the association for easy monitoring of their activities.
140. The next one is 140.
I wish to welcome you all to today's raffle draw and for the 2023 hunting season. I am delighted to to grace this occasion that will ensure a transparent selection of citizens and resident hunters in various hunting blocks. Allow me to remind you that hunting is an important tool in sustainable management of wildlife resources, as enshrined in the Zambia Wildlife Act number 14 of 2015. And Wildlife, the MPUNDU, has developed guidelines to ensure that citizens, residents, and bona fide applicants are given a fair chance of being considered for the hunting license. To this effect, I want to recognize the donation that we've received for the machine that will be used in the process, as well as other, as indicated by the resident hunters, rations, fuels, that was taken precautionary measures to ensure that the 2023 hunting licenses are awarded impartially to deserving citizens, established residents, and bona fide hunters. Further, I employ on the staff of the Department of the National Parks and Wildlife to ensure that wild animals are harvested in a much more sustainable manner. To this end, I am directing all staff of the Department of National Parks and Wildlife to work closely with the industry stakeholders, such as the safari hunting outfitters, resident hunters, and Conservation Association of Zambia, Royal Wildlife Police officers, and indeed our community scouts, to monitor every hunt in 2023 to address the issues of abuse of licenses and inadequate monitoring of resident hunting activities in various hunting blocks.
We have been talking about this for some time now, but there is every need for every resident hunter to hunt through the association. Mechanisms can be worked out to achieve this. But anyway, the powers that be appears is not here, so I won't talk much about that. Now, the other problem we are facing as resident hunters is the question of resident hunting starting very late in the season. I mean, nobody wants to hunt during the rainy season because you face a lot of challenges. That is why we are requesting the department and all those involved to please consider starting the resident hunting on the 1st of September.
A lecturer at the University of Zambia School of Mines, Jawet Masinja, has observed that the current regulatory framework is an obstacle to growing the manganese sector in Zambia, including which needs to be revised to bring all Zambian players on board. The mining expert says the country needs to explore fully the manganese reserves it has and invest in manganese exploration. Dr. Masinja says if the government allows manganese miners to operate officially as registered miners, the benefits are many, including an improved business environment that will lead to a better life for the communities. He says the government needs to provide incentives to attract international investors and facilitate the process. Dr. Masinja says upgrading manganese and other minerals like copper requires advanced technology that the country needs to acquire through partnership with countries such as China.
Because if you go and look at, when the copper is received, wherever it's received in China or Korea or Japan, what do they do with it? or what do they do to it so that it then becomes a useful product and not just a red metal sitting on a pile somewhere? No. The technology that transforms that is what we need to bring here. So now, when you look at manganese, for example, the export form says concentrate and there's an alloy. That if our people who are already engaged in manganese mining and so on and so forth are allowed to become officially registered as miners or whatever the case might be. And then once the government engages with them at that level, then the marketing becomes better, meaning they start to get a fair price for their product. So when you get a fair price for a product, that is income into the family, right? So income at a domestic level, you start having more money at home. So the quality of life then begins to improve. That's one. Two, the government engages in helping these folks become more technologically aware. So they become, better miners, safer miners. They become more aware of the impact on the environment, so they develop mitigation measures. So the quality of their lives improves. So their productivity improves, their income improves, and the quality of their lives improves, and the environment around and where they live and work will also improve. So it is a win-win scenario.
The presidential initiative called the Hakainde Entrepreneurship Mentorship Initiative for Cooperatives has started operating under the umbrella of the Farmers Development Cooperative Union FDCU. Speaking during the unveiling meeting, FDCU National Chairperson Monze Muleya says such an initiative is meant for Zambians to invest in Zambia through various business ventures as cooperatives. Mr. Muleya explains that the program has a target of supporting 24,000 cooperatives or conglomerates in its first year of operation. On that note, we break for another set of commercials. We have more in sports and international news. Don't go away.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Science dark after formula, decade fatigue. That's a report I was given. Science dark, what's Ati? Science dark bossy. Ati mizako muntu. Eka nito pomuleko, please. To remember banja knife. Speta chambe hambo konkera. Because if I don't go to their doorsteps, the relation is a sira. Better vis-a-vis. Let me start dealing with this issue. Vis-a-vis. Farmer doorstep, head on.
At your doorstep. Time 11 hours to 12 hours every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And repeats from 18 to 19 hours every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Charlie over there. You go. Go now.
What if I never knew? What if I never found you? I never have this feeling in my heart.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet Media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends, and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to having home, and it's far.
Welcome back, and now in international news, 1 year after the coup that brought Captain Ibrahim Traoré to power in Burkina Faso, people rallied in the streets of Ouagadougou to show their support to the military leader. Here is a roundup of our news beyond our borders.
1 year after the coup that brought Captain Ibrahim Traoré to power in Burkina Faso, people rallied in the streets of Ouagadougou to show their support to the military leader. When he seized power, Captain Traoré set himself 2 to 3 months to improve security and regain control of the jihadist-plagued West African nation. In this 1 year, we've really seen a lot of change. There have been fewer attacks, fewer displaced people, and he's taking a step that really warms my heart, opening factories for young Burkinabe people to work in. It's really incredible. 1 year on, a very satisfactory record, and no Burkinabe can say otherwise, because first of all, we can see what the captain has already done and put a lot of villages back in place. That's already an achievement for us, and we're proud of him. We trust him, and we know we're going to win this war against the evildoers.
Faisons confiance et nous savons qu'on va gagner cette guerre contre les faiseurs du mal.
Since taking power, the new regime has focused on a strong security response to the attacks by groups affiliated to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State through massive recruitment and drone and helicopter acquisition. We have hope for the future. We do not mean for ourselves. We're fighting for our children and our great-grandchildren. We're already here, already done. So it's for the next generation. That's it. Under Captain Traoré, relationships with France broke down, prompting French forces to quit the country in February. The junta has diversified its international partners, including contacts with Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. Voting ended on Friday in Eswatini's legislative elections, Africa's last absolute monarchy. Polling stations started to close at around 7 p.m. local, and counting began in the southern African nation, ruled by King Mswati III for the last 4 decades. More than 500,000 people were registered to vote, but less than a third of those registered at the Mbabane station showed up, according to a poll manager.
The attempt was actually to say, let us have people who are going to go into parliament and be a voice of the voiceless, understanding that in Swaziland there is still a dictatorship wherein the king actually has all the power, absolute monarchy that is. So now we want a voice in parliament to say, let us democratize.
Despite recent and deadly pro-democracy protests, no turmoil was observed during these elections in which voters were to choose 59 members of the lower house of parliament, which only has an advisory role.
Amongst ourselves, and let us have power, because they were saying, let us have a prime minister that has been elected by the people, not just a prime minister who's been appointed or appointed by the king. Because when the prime minister is appointed by the king, then it means he will not account to the population. He will only account to the one who appointed him, because he holds the power.
Formerly known as Swaziland, Eswatini was shaken in 2021 by pro-democracy protests that were violently quashed by security forces, with dozens of people killed. The results, to be announced within a few days, are seen as a foregone conclusion by the opposition, which largely called for a boycott of the vote. Political parties are banned in the landlocked country, where lawmakers cannot be affiliated with political groups.
Thank you very much. And now in sports news, Ollie Watkins scored his second hat-trick of the season as Aston Villa delivered a ruthless display to thrash high-flying Brighton at Villa Park. Watkins gave Unai Emery's side an early lead, finishing coolly into the left corner after Matty Cash had picked out the forward with a low cross. The 27-year-old went close with a rasping drive that flew inches wide before doubling his personal tally with a low shot inside Jason Steele's right-hand post. Sharper to the ball and stronger in challenge, Villa were all over Brighton and increased their lead just 5 minutes later when Moussa Diaby's scaffold shot deflected in off the unfortunate Pervis Estupinan. Half-time substitute Ansu Fati pulled one back as Brighton improved after the restart, but Watkins' third goal of the game, a powerful drive, took a deflection of Adam Webster on its way in, ended the visitors' hopes of an unlikely comeback. Watkins, who also scored 3 goals against Hibernian in Europa Conference League qualifying, is the first Villa player to net more than one hat-trick in a season since Andy Gray in the 1976-77 season. Late efforts from Jacob Ramsey and Douglas Luiz were the icing on the cake for Villa. On that note, we come to the end of today's menus, but before we go, we take another look at the stories that made the headlines. PF describes the 2024 national budget as non-pro-poor. Citizens object the introduction of tax on mobile money transactions. Bishop TELESPHORE MPUNDU implores government to focus on improving the lives of people. And in international news, Burkina Faso's partisans demonstrate in support of Junta 1 year post-coup. And in sports news, Watkins scores a hat-trick as Villa thump Brighton. And before we go, we now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which comes from the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 17, and says, "A friend loves at all times, but a brother is born for a time of adversity." That's it. That's all we had for the news at 19:30. Don't forget to join us for another bulletin on behalf of the entire production team. Have a blessed night.